Right. So moving on, we have our next keynote presentation on how cloud computing is supporting ESG goals, that is the environment, social, and governance, by Mr. Mohammed Shalan, PMO Director, E-Enterprise, Umar Qasim Alisai Group, OKAG, and Digital Transformation Director at Saudi Chapter of Project Management Institute. I'm sorry. Right. Over to you, Mr. Shalan, again. The stage is all yours for your
Okay,
keynote.
thank you very much. Let me share my screen. I don't know if I don't have a button to share. Can you please give me the right? Okay, share.
You should be able to share your screen.
Okay, now I am able to share my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
Just waiting for it to come up on presentation mode.
this is the presentation mode. Okay.
Perfect. We can see it now on presentation mode.
Okay. So actually, I will be. Thank you very much for having me for this presentation. I'll be talking in the same theme of this great summit actually, and I will be talking about what's the cloud rule in having and performing the ESG, which is environmental social governance practices. For this, we will have a kind of 5 aspects that we will talk initially about. One of them is about the concept of ESG and how this is happening. Then we will talk into cloud-first approach. We'll go into how to judge the cloud providers for ESG performance, as well we will touch on circular economy, and then we are talking about the fundamental dimensions for having the right performance. First of all, I need to introduce what is ESG, which actually is a term that is coming today. A lot of times we hear this term, and it's really very amazing and very important for us all. And in here, as you see, actually, we are talking about 3 parameters, which is environmental, social, and governance. The environmental part is talking about how business performance as a custodian of nature, analyzing how its operating activities affect the environment. Then we are talking about the social component, which looks into this, how are the strengths and the weaknesses in managing the relations with various stakeholders, including the society itself. Then we are talking into governance, and in governance we are talking how we control, how we lead, how we find the right relations as well as the right safeguards for our business and for our activities. When we are talking about ESG, actually, it is now very vital for organizations, and we will see how people are looking into this actually as well, how CEOs, as well the community, the shareholders, everyone is looking into this. So we will see, for example, investors are looking into ESG strategies to ensure that their money in venture actually is having lower risk based on these goals. As well, as consumer, we are willing to have premier prices sometimes, so for people who are providing sustainability and sustainable products for the next generation that are coming. Business needs itself and the quality sometimes is coming at. It's very important to concentrate on this and to see how this will affect the quality. We have here, and like from Accenture, actually, these numbers have like 44% of the CEOs are believing actually in ESG, and they see like they are aiming to have a net zero future of their companies, meaning that they need to reduce the emissions with their emission with the effort to save the environment. Similarly, we see actually out of this exercise that companies that are providing and caring about ESG is having a kind of higher operating margins and lower volatility, like 4.7 compared to other organizations. If we are looking into the total cost of ownership, so for the public cloud, and this is part of what we are discussing, is that we see that it's 30 to 40% total cost of ownership reduction and saving due to implementing the ESG and the cloud-first approach. We having this actually is moving us to what we call the cloud-first approach, how this will sustain the environment, how this will reduce the CO2 emissions, so that is, as you see here, actually it will be like 59 million tons per year can be reduced by actually moving to cloud. And this is equal to around 22 million cars on the road. So as well, actually, we are seeing a lot of opportunities that is coming out of the cloud, because in here you have a kind of more efficiency, more cost efficient products. You have more energy as well. You have better performance as well, better enhancement. So, and here actually, when we are talking about the cloud support, how can cloud support the ESG? Then we are talking how the policy, the cloud policy, will be included, so that instead of having different data centers and everyone will have different strategies, then we are talking about a framework to manage and to measure all the parameters related to the cloud. As well, we will have a kind of cloud sets, different cloud sets that we are talking about, that we can measure and we can have better business processes. Similarly, we are talking about some functional elements that we can incorporate to measure and to see better controls over the cloud. So this is how cloud is affecting and supporting the goals of ESG achievements. One more thing I need to talk about is usually now is coming in digital transformation. We are talking about blurring the lines. Blurring the lines meaning that, for example, for long years we have physical as a different word, digital different word, then the biological as third words. Today we are emerging with the help of cloud utilization. We are merging all these three words into one word, and we are getting value out of these. So this is really very important thing that we are considering and talking about. This is also considered when we are talking about, as we said in the, my colleague said in the previous panel actually, that cloud providers can be judged based on their contribution to the ESG goals, so that we can have how they are incorporating the ESG policies into their investments in the future as well in the current situation. We are talking about communicating these ESG goals to the stakeholders, to the investors, as well maintaining internal governance and culture to ensure that people everywhere is aware about it and know how to operate it, and this is very important. Also, when we are talking about this, we are talking that the ESG cloud providers should be thoughtful engineering actually about their products and their services. So first, to be thoughtful, meaning that first we have to select with purpose. We need to select the provider as well the services as well the locations, and to build our data centers with mindful so that information, so that we understand and put these ESG in action actually. The second point is how we can build the ambition actually, meaning that we need to look into the infrastructure and see how we design our infrastructure, because this infrastructure can lead actually to a kind of 65% of energy reduction. Similarly, for software engineering, where we have to choose the right language for certain tasks. Application optimizing, meaning that certain applications can be reducing the emissions or the footprint of carbon, while others will not. So we have to look into all these activities. Similarly, we need to innovate. Innovation is the keyword actually today, and we have to innovate and to look into circular economy, meaning that to have something that is we can reuse every time. And here you see, for example, every aspect that we are doing today and making, we have different aspects as well, different contribution to the footprint as well to the environment. So this is very important as we see. Here we're talking about the circular economy, how it is helping, and everyone actually need to take care about circular economy. I need to go to this actually is to see as well, maybe in here, to be the wise pivot, to transform. So usually when we transform, we have to look about the value that we are providing. We have to look at the core business, then to expand and extend. And always we have to utilize disruptive technologies where we have new opportunities to grow. Similarly, we need to look into this fundamental dimensions of maturity, where we look into operations, we will look into culture, the products and services, as well. The keywords is the ecosystem, how we utilize the ecosystem and benefit from all of these activities, so that we have our providers, our systems, our products, and how to collaborate with others to get value. So this is very important thing. And the last slide, actually, I talk about the policymakers, how policymakers will support circular economy and will support green cloud. This will be during the kind of steering, incentivizing, investing, and redefining, and then refining this, because this is a continuous process that we are in, and we need to take care about, so that we can get the value out of this cloud computing, as well about circular economy and the ESG factors that we are talking about. And this is from my side. I know it's a short presentation, but I hope all it was focused on the ESG and how we focus on the ESG, actually, how it will affect our performance. So that's from my side, and back to you, Roger. So actually, this is from my side. We are try to call actually about the ESG effects on the cloud computing. Roger, are you there?
Thank you, Mr. Shalin, for the insightful session on with your keynote presentation, and it was indeed a very, very insightful one. Thank you once again, and hope you have a nice rest of the day and enjoy the rest of the summit.
Thank you very much.